Mandela has many creators and authors throughout the history. It's not bound to one religion, country, or region, but is a universal symbolic that has many authors, and they've been all pointing at the same source of beauty and love that is within us. The idea of Bio-Mandala started in Lapland, collaborating as an artist with different sectors like science, biology, dance, and many different type of art. It brought me to a point to create an art that is inclusive of more people.
So when we think about public art, it traditionally means statues such as kings and queens in the center of the city. Or we could also say that crosses of the churches are telling about who has the power in our society. But our nowadays societies are much more diverse. We have many cultures living together, and the public art should also reflect this diversity of the people.
With the help of community members, volunteers, artists, researchers, and all the stakeholders, the tangible outcome, it will be a Bio-Mandala located in Finland, Turku, Alkovoima.
We are in Alkovoima, Turku. This is community and gallery. Yeah, this is the nature of womanhood, the exhibition here right now. And it started through this Enni Järvinen's artwork. So yeah, it's about authentic voices. So that is the thing that inspires inner space, and for that we need some kind of safe space, and this is for it. So the right people just comes like naturally, and the same thing is with the Bio-Mandala Chatra. The energy is like magnet.
Chatra in Sanskrit, Chat in Persian. It means umbrella and also mushroom. It's used in Indian scripture to show protection and cosmic order, the way that we use umbrella, for example, to stay away from the rain or sunlight. So the same way Chatra is helping you when you go to a teacher to protect yourself from the negative aspect of their karma. The syncrasy between Chatra and mushroom in our project, mushrooms are the creator of the Chatra Bio-Mandala. They are the true artists, growing, decomposing, and bringing a new life and display of colors and forms for the audience who come to see it.
One of the mushrooms that we're using for the Chatra project is turkey tail. Its Latin name is Termetes versicolor, which means of many colors, and it's named that way because of the way it looks. It usually has brown and blue and tan patterns, and in the forest, when conditions are right, fungi will spread by sending out spores so that the offspring can go live on somewhere else. But another way that fungi spreads is just through the mycelium growing. And that's the way that we can use for our project. To do that, you just take any piece of the mushroom. You just need a couple cells is all. And then you can take this little piece back to the lab without hurting the fungi and transfer the cells into a petri dish to grow it. To make the tissue cell culture, we will break open the mushroom, take a piece from the inside where it's clean, put it in the petri dish, and then let it grow out. After a couple weeks, it will be full of white mycelium, and then it's ready to use for the next step. So these are the strains on petri dishes, and we have one of reishi, Ganoderma lucidum, one of turkey tail, Trametes versicolor, and lion's mane, Hericium erinaceus. So then we will put the mycelium from the petri dish onto grain, and then onto sawdust, and then finally from the sawdust onto the fabric.
Bioart is the form of art where natural scientists and artists have collaborated for a long time already. But much of the work is done in the laboratories, and there artists grow tissue culture or make other experiments. But what I'm curious is to see that how bioart could take place outdoors as public art, and how bioart could expand our view on environmental art and public art. And in this project, the traditions of the environmental art, working with growing plants or trees or something like this, comes together with the bioart.
Anthropologists have often described what happens to primitive men when they are exposed to modern men and their spiritual values are gone. Their social structure collapses and they lose the meaning of life. Also they themselves, they morally decay. Carl Jung, in his book Man and His Symbols, he describes the modern man is sane. The only difference is that he doesn't know what he has lost. And that is the reason there is a need for a spiritual discourse at these times for a modern man in this society. Collecting metal scraps from recycling center, Casimils weld together the metal structure of Chatra Bio-Mandala. In order to be able to accommodate the mushrooms on the metal structure, we ask participants to donate a piece of fabric to the mandala.
I came here this morning. I realized that I will bring this over 40 years old bedspread with me, which broke last week. So it's time for me to let it go. It's dear to me, and it comes to the perfect project. And this is it.
Sewing donated fabric pieces together and around the metal structure. Mushrooms use fabrics and other nutrients to grow and transform the mandala.
When I've heard that we needed, they need some fabric to use for it, and some fabric with the memories. This was something that came to me. I went through my clothes and I couldn't find anything that spoke to me. But when I noticed this fabric, then I knew that this is it. So there's a lot of my memories with this fabric. I have a cat, 2 cats, and the other one is already in the form of spirit. Big character, soul sister, she's called Millie. And we used to drive a lot with the car, all like the cats behind of the car and me in the front of the car, and I always knew that I could drive the car without them coming in front of the car, like safely. They were like in back of the car, and this was their like bed.
It's very symbolic how the memories attached to the fabric are similar memories and thoughts stuck into our mind space. And we have not been able to find their place into the realm of existence. In countryside Finland lives a Tibetan Buddhist master who has dedicated his life enhancing mental well-being of mankind. We visit his Dharmic center and ask about Mandala in Tibetan tradition.
So actually this mandala, we call these are the very symbolic of the also, the really mandala is that everything inside of the mind. The nature of mind is the luminous, the form, and as well as also very wisdom and compassion. So this each of the mandalas also they give symbolic of the that image also. So therefore, how I should say that the mandala is the directly you can say the seat of the or temple of the deities, and inside that there is deities. But that is the more symbol, and the really meaning is that we have to understand of this our own mind has all these symbols. So that is the how the mandala is important. Then you talk about the sand mandala, right where we need to empty. In the Buddhist, our view is that everything appears from the emptiness, and also everything also dissolved into the emptiness. And there's nothing such kind of permanent things which forever existing. And as well also we cannot kind of clinging that, oh, this is the something very important and I have to keep. Even the mandala itself is very important, but the end, it has to be dissolved.
Chatra is contributing to the building of interconnectedness. Interconnectedness is a fundamentally Buddhist term, and yet what we are doing here is art. It's community art, which incorporates and resonates through any lineage. When we talk about lineage, we mean that culture and that unique knowledge that is connected to, for example, the plants of a specific place. In Chatra, we have worked hard to build that entire bridge, as complex as it is, and as many different dimensions as we have had to take into consideration. We have built that entire bridge for a participant to approach from their personal solitude and from their personal intentions, from their personal understanding of the world and from the safety of that space, and to participate through the planting of a seed in the presence of these geometrical shapes that are representational, but also alive through the living mushroom fungi network.
The shape of the mandala, there are 5 shapes there, but in a physical level, we see only 3 of them. And these 3 forms are the Holy Trinity throughout the nature. In the drawing classes, I've been taught that if you have these 3 shapes, you can create all the shapes and forms in this universe. And those shapes are triangle, square, and circle. The circle is infinite. It's universal. It's one in the same time is everything. It's smooth, it's earth, it's sun, it's planet, it's molecule, it's atom. Within the sphere, the circle, it is a square. The square is a structure. It's strong, it's powerful. It stands. And triangle is fiery, is doer, is the action. And if you have noticed, the number of the points where we can put this, in number 5 and more, the representation is circle. Number 4 is a square. Number 3, triangle. And number 2, which actually doesn't have the physical manifestation in the Bio-Mandala art, but it's been taught during the ceremonies, is duality, number 2, where the whole thing is created. As a symbol is wind. We don't see wind, but we know it's there. As it moves the branches of the tree. It moves the waves of the ocean. It's there. It creates duality and life. And number 1. There should be a number 1, but I don't have anything to say about that. To explore more about invisible and subtle aspects of being, we come to visit Anu, yoga teacher who does various yoga postures and breathing techniques as a part of her daily spiritual practice since last 12 years.
You can see the physical form, but what's happening there in the practice is more like an inside work. It's more about breathing, bringing awareness to your body, bringing awareness to your mind and your breath and your overall energy. So I feel that's kind of the aspect that you don't actually see, but that's the essence of yoga. The ease has a lot to do with the breath and a kind of the awareness of our body and our body posture, and how the breath actually makes the body more open, more full of energy, and kind of that can bring ease. And in yoga asanas, it's not important to have like this perfect form. It's more like kind of connecting to your own body, whatever it is, and whatever your limitations are. It's kind of connecting to it and learning to breathe, and in that way also affect on your nervous system.
Mikko's church was built in 1905 by a young, innovative architecture in city of Turku. During our visit, I noticed the stone carvings on the side of the church, the shapes of mushrooms and pine fruit. And I thought, okay, that's not the story of Bible, mushrooms and pine. I want to know more about this. My friend Amir, she visited the church and she inquired about this, and they introduced some books to her that she can read. We saw in the book that the artists in that time, they realized the fruits existing in Finland, they are not anything less holy than the fruits mentioned in Bible stories, such as mushroom and pine fruits. The mushroom from Amanita family group, it has a very established position among Nordic people, especially Lapland region shamanism, and it's been used for getting insights. These fruits are not randomly chosen, but the perfect decisions to put on a spiritual space in a city of Turku. The pine cone, it is connected and associated because of the similarities in the look to the pineal gland inside the human head. We still don't know its exact functions. Descartes, French philosopher, he studied pineal gland, and he thought that the pineal gland is responsible for our connection from physical body to soul, and that's where the thoughts are formed. Pine fruit from a certain angle, it represents Sahasra, or cosmic order. The same sacred geometrical pattern It can be seen in many places in nature and spiritual art. For example, looking at the center of the sunflower, the same recurring shapes is taking place. Standing under the tomb of Sheikh Lutfullah Mosque in Iran and looking upward, a dome is seen. Alex Gray, the mystic painter, is using the same pattern in his painting very often, and his paintings are one of my favorites. I think mushroom and pinecone are perfect choice to be placed at the St. Michael's Church. One day before the full moon, August 2021, we gathered around the Mandela site. We made a fire, and around the fire we shared food and drinks. We sing songs and dance. We cry and laugh. We bless the Mandela and all beings in their journey to completion.
So in ceremony, we're planting the seed. We're planting the seed for true understanding on all levels of the senses. We are opening up to the possibility of art as something self-conscious, as something that distributes to the society. In ceremony, we interact with nature, utilizing both intelligence and consciousness. This is what makes ceremony so exciting.
Us human, we are part of the nature. We are not separate from it. The next day, the Mandala was erected from the ashes of the ceremony.
I see your vision there, the structure of the universe, the patterns and the sacred geometry, the fabric of consciousness, history, and story of humankind, wrapped around everything, and the mushrooms that eventually eats it all, leaving only the structure, the sacred geometry, the new codes of infinite creation to the next wave. I am so happy that you made this with Alkvoima.